one of the most recognisable vehicles ever made, I would say, has to be the Volkswagen bus or the T2. There are two here on display, which are not on display, but they're here in storage. There's one, and then there is another. Very cute, very pretty. So they're very cute, very pretty car. They had the engine right at the back, driving the rear wheels. Very, very versatile. So you have the ability to have a bus with many seats, or a camper, or a van, or whatever you like, really. Um, you could do so many different things with them. They had a lot of character. People loved them in their day, and people love them still. As I say, we have a storage facility here, which I'm just walking through now. We have two of them in for storage, so they are very much a loved vehicle, and people pay an awful lot of money for them. Now, the vehicles that came afterwards, the transporters and the buses and what have you, as good as they are, and they are all brilliant, and they still have quite a following. None of them have the character, or have had the character that the original camper had. So up until now, now what we have is the VW ID Buzz, which is a fully electric vehicle, and I have one behind me, and I'd like to show you around. So I've just kind of walked through there to show you what the original ones look like. And of course, as I said, the buses, the caravels, and the Oceans and what have you, they're brilliant vehicles, but they are front engine, front wheel drive, mostly diesel, and they look very much like any other van, apart from the fact they have a VW badge on the bonnet. Now, this car is very different. This vehicle is very different. So you can see from the front here, and you compare that to the two cars that I've just shown you, or the two vehicles I've just shown you, there is definitely a similarity there. So this car really was built to recreate the character of the original car. And it's not just in what they've done with the face to make the face look like the original T2. The whole shape of the car, it does have some nice radiuses all the way around it. But also, I think, just as importantly and less obvious when you drive them, when you drive a transporter or a caravel, a modern car with front wheel drive and a diesel engine, whether it be manual or automatic, the drive comes from the front, which gives you a completely different driving experience to having the engine sat right down here between the two rear wheels. With the engine sat down between the two rear wheels, you get the lion's share of the weight at the back of the car. You've got the drive coming from the back of the car or the vehicle, and that feels very different to when the power is being delivered to the front wheels. So what this car has, or this ID Buzz has, is this has a bank of batteries, and it has electric motors at the back and drive from the back. So that gives you a difference in terms of the way that the vehicle feels, and it feels similar. It's got that feel about it that the transporters just don't have. Having the drive from the front is a very different feel, and also when you take the drive away from the front, when you take the drive shaft out of the front and everything that goes with it, what you end up with is the ability to have a tighter turning circle. So these wheels will move around a lot further than they would do if it was a conventional front-wheel drive car, giving you a really tight radius, which means getting what is a fairly large vehicle into small parking spots and into tight areas a lot easier. So in terms of practicalities, it works really, really well. Now, I've got to say, I do like the styling cues. So this is lime yellow, and if you contrast the lime yellow with shiny black detail, like they have done, all the way down the sides, and then you've got the smoked rear lights, it gives this car a very definite character. You've got privacy glass as well, which makes the rear windows darker, and then you've got on the alloys, it's all blended in beautifully, silver and gloss black, black sills, door mirrors, all the trim around here is all in black. Come on, there we go. Nice little Volkswagen. I think my camera's really struggling because it's so shiny. And of course the details on the front, the black and the white. Ties it in really well. It gives it a nice bold look. I think it looks fantastic. So let's get under the skin of it. Let's have a look in the boot. Before we go there, I'm just going to show you charging. It's all electric. It does have a good range. We've got 2/3 of a charge in it at the moment, which gives us, I think, about 178 miles. So with a full charge, you're looking, according to the book, it's around 250, 256 miles. And we have additional boot mat that was on there before. So we've got, just move that out of the way. I'm going to leave that in a minute. So what we've got here is a very decent sized boot. Now, the back of the vehicle is quite straight. So you do have a bit of an angle there, but it's taken up by the boot lid. So that means you've got more interior space, a lot more interior space than you would have with something like a Range Rover or any kind of modern estate car, because you've got all this height. You can put big things in there. This is an incredibly practical vehicle. You've also got a false floor in this form, which is one of the options. What they've done here is, because you've got all the batteries and everything underneath the floor here, there's no underfloor storage. So we have charging cables and first aid kits and all that sort of thing, all tucked inside underneath. That will also lift up. And if you look in underneath there, there's more storage. So you can use that very well for storage. There is, so just pull that button, you can hear a click. Out pops a tow bar, which you can click in with one finger. Pop that again. And there it is. And I can just pop that straight back in with my foot, and it's all stowed and secure. Lovely. Moving our way around to the back, we have sliding doors. So with a big vehicle, a sliding door means that you have less, it takes up less space when you're opening the door, which means you can park in tighter parking spaces. So not only is it easier to park with the better steering and the better steering angle, being able to get in and out of it is a lot easier because of the sliding door. Now you've also got a flat floor here where there's no transmission tunnel going from the front to the rear. It gives you a completely flat floor. So the middle passenger, who also has a proper 3-point belt, has as much legroom in the front as the two side passengers do. That's important. If you're a family with tall children, if you're a family of 6-footers, there's a lot of headroom in here. I can sit in here and I can do that with my hand above my head, and I'm 5'10.5". So if you're a family of 6-footers, this is going to give you an awful lot of benefits in terms of headroom. So now what I'm going to do here is this is one hand, so I'm holding my phone camera with one hand. I just pop that and then push it down. And I'm going to do the same with the other side. Again, one hand, and then one hand here. There's no weight needed. And then here we have a completely flat loading bay. Not only is it a completely flat loading bay, but that is big enough to take a mattress. So obviously this parcel shelf just unclips and pulls off, but that is big enough to take a mattress. And if you've got a mattress here, you can tuck away duvets and bits and pieces underneath the boot floor, and that gives you somewhere that you can, if you need to, stay overnight without having to book anywhere. And that's really cool. That is very, very flexible for a car of this size. You can just release and push it back with one hand. release, push it back with one hand, and we're exactly where we started with all that room. We've also got picnic tables, one either side. Nice bit of flexibility. So, what a useful car. Close this door as well. No, I've actually only unlocked the driver's door, so that one will stay locked until I press the unlock button. And I'll come around to the inside of the car here. You see you've got a nice, functional, but nicely built door card, which gives you folding mirrors and heated mirrors. So you've got a cold climate pack on there. You have nice storage and enough for a big bottle of drink or what have you in there. All the buttons are soft touch, as you can see, and there's an engine start stop here, which I'll show you in a second. Very comfortable seats, so you've got a lot of lateral support here, which is very comfortable, and a rather nice touch sensitive steering wheel. Now if I jump in, I can also show you that this is an adjustable hand armrest. If I press this button, I can lock it off at any point, depending on how high I like my elbow. Much like a Range Rover used to be, much like the Discoveries are. And then you've got this really nice screen, which is easy to use. You've got down there wireless charging if your phone supports it, down in there. And then you've got two USB-C charging points. There are your vents. And down here, tucked away nice and neatly, two cup holders. Watch all your interior lights and what have you there. So, foot on the brake, touch the start. Now we have the display, and I've got different view modes here. So I can have driver active systems, speed, navigation if you have navigation active. So it's a nice customizable screen. This is also a nice customizable screen. So I just press the menu here. Park distance control, that is your parking sensors. You can turn them off, and you've got active park assist as well. So what that does is it uses the radar on the front of the car and the parking sensors to find a parking space that it'll fit into. And then it will tell you when to use the brake and accelerator, and it will park itself. And it has 5 different memories if you want to teach it to park in certain ways that you like. So that is a really handy thing if you're not as confident as you could be with parking. So you can see here that's indication of 1 out of 4 screens, different clocks. We go into climate. That shows you your climate control. So defog windows. Now I don't know if you can see in here. I don't know if you can, but in here you've got an element in the screen. So it's like the quick clear windscreen. You can just see the edge of it just there. So as well as having the front windscreen cleared by air coming from the vents, it also has an element in it, much like the rear screen. Yeah, I'll get back into climate again, and you can see here, warm hands gives you heated steering wheel. That's lovely. Rapid heating, rapid cooling. A nice, easy to use system. The IQ Drive Assist, and you have your modes. So this is an electric motor, but you do have the modes: eco, comfort, sport, and individual, which is customizable. So you can change different elements of the way the car drives and the way it delivers its power to suit how you'd like to drive the car itself. And then we've got volume controls here, heater controls here, and they're just basically little slide buttons that work really well. On the left hand side of the steering wheel, you can see you've got cruise control, and there's a picture of a vehicle there, and there's some dots in it and a plus and a minus. That is the radar assist. So if you're doing 70 miles an hour on the motorway with the cruise control set, and a car pulls out in front of you doing 65, instead of driving straight into the back of it, this car will sense the car in front and back off to hold a certain gap between it and the car in front. So you can increase the gap or decrease the gap between yourself and the car in front with these two buttons here. Now when the car moves out of the way, this car will then accelerate back up to the speed you had it set before and then hold it for you. So that's called radar assisted or active cruise control. This system here gives you the volume control, and you can go backwards and forwards between what you listen to on the radio or on your phone or what have you. And then of course it drives the screen as well. And you can see here, as well as having the air, you've got the heated element, and that's how you switch it on. So a very nice, very useful and very practical car that's got a whole load of character. Decent range. As I say, 71% gives you 171 miles, and the book says 250. Of course, it all depends on road conditions, temperatures, how you drive, and that sort of thing. But ultimately, you've got a vehicle here which can carry a full-size family. It can give you a bed for the night. It's very comfortable. It's got the equivalent of around 200 horsepower with the electric motor in the rear. And it's funky. It's a very, very cute looking car. And it's brought what was a really characterful car from the 60s and 70s into modern times with modern technology. What a lovely looking car. So I hope you like the car. I hope you like the video and find the video useful. If you'd like to know more about it, please visit our website, which is www.bramshawebv.com. Pop us an email, drop us a text or WhatsApp, or pick up the phone and speak to us. We'd love to talk to you about it. Thanks for watching.